How's it going, YouTube? Figured it was about time I did an update on this little reef tank system. It's going on 2 months old now, I think. And I've obviously added quite a few corals in here. Went through some ups and downs in the beginning. Lost a couple of fish due to temperature swings, but just pretty much worked out all the kinks of the system. I've adjusted it a couple of things. I raised the light and shrunk down these overflow tubes. So right there's a reducer, and that created some gurgling, so I added some ball valves that you can see there. And other than that, I just I adjusted the light a couple of times and the flow, just kind of with this green hammer coral here was kind of the guinea pig coral. And it kind of shows because first the lighting was kind of too high, then he was way over in the corner here where he wasn't getting enough, I don't think. And then the flow, I was adjusting a lot, trying to find the happy medium. And I kind of settled in and then added these two other hammer corals. That's a peach, it was called. It's kind of pink. And then this gold tip with brown tentacles, really pretty. And yeah, they both look awesome all day, every day, so I think they're happy with how I've got everything set up. You might have noticed the tridacna clams. There's two of them in there. I added those actually before these two corals here. Yeah, kind of once I settled on all the flow and lighting and all the parameters seemed stable, I went ahead and got these two clams, and they're doing super well. As you can see, they close up, and right there you can see how white that shell is. This one's already opening back up, but they're both growing. This one's getting more light, so it's growing faster, but super good sign that they're healthy. Then I've got this mushroom, this Yuma was the first one. Then I got this Florida Recordia online. I ordered actually these two corals online on Etsy, Chris Corals. Highly recommend him. The clams came from saltwaterfish.com. I recommend them as well. That was my first experience ordering online. They had a really good deal. Got those two for $68 each. And the Recordia came in a shipment with, let's see if it's poking his head out. I love mantis shrimp, and for a long time I've wanted a specific variety known as pseudosquilla ciliata, and they are found in Florida, and this one supplier, KP Aquatics. Highly recommend them as well. They happen to carry that specific species, so went ahead and ordered one. He's in his burrow. You can see he's taken this toadstool algae here. He's made a burrow under this piece of rock that's kind of pretty much buried, and he's taken the algae and put it around his entrances, which is pretty funny. You can see one right there. And he just successfully molted past week, so I'm super stoked about that. That's kind of known as being the most likely time to lose a mantis shrimp. But yeah, you can see all the macroalgae growing like crazy. Everything's doing awesome. I'm super stoked. Oh, there's an urchin. Got him from the same supplier from Florida. Everything's local. That feather duster came with the clams, and the xenia was also one of the guinea pigs, because obviously they're gonna do fine no matter what. There's a yellow watchman goby in there with a pistol shrimp. The pistol shrimp came in on the live rock, actually. Don't see the goby right now. Oh, there he is. Way back in there. Barely see his yellow. But he's doing super good, which is awesome. I will eventually get some little clowns and some other fish, but enough about that. I just got 8 new zoanthids in the mail, and I'm just doing a little coral dip. So kind of just as far as my process for dipping the corals, I do a water change generally right before when I get new animals or corals, and then I use that old water just to kind of acclimate them and do the dip in, as well as mix with some of the water that came in, just to kind of get them used to my water, and then I will rinse them once again in the water from my tank before adding them into the display. And alright, here he is, poking his little head out. If he sees me, he might look over here. There he is. Super cool little creatures, mantis shrimps. Highly recommend them. Perfect refugium animal. They can have a species-only tank, and they won't eat your copepods because you don't want any fish in your refugium for the most part, and you don't want any fish with these guys. So yeah, absolutely perfect. He's super healthy. They're super hardy. Very interesting to watch. Intelligent and pretty badass. Yeah, he literally would pull little bits of algae off of this, and he stuffed it around his burrow entrances. That's how smart they are. Oh, see those claws? I don't know what he was striking at, but he didn't like something. He's showing off. See if we can see him from the top. There he is. Top-down view is always super cool, especially with the tridacna clams, as you saw. They look totally different when you look at them head-on versus top-down. Kind of get an idea, even with the flow. They look a lot more blue and purpley from the head-on versus from the top. They completely change. This one's fairly green. This one's like a bluish green, real crazy. Super cool. I love clams. Probably one of my favorite things to keep in a reef tank now. But yeah, finish the dip them for about 10 minutes, and I'm just letting them rinse in this, like I said, water that came from the water change. It's kind of the same temp as the tank, and yeah, get them used to it. I'm gonna throw them in, and I'll probably let them just acclimate on the plugs right around here, and then some I'll probably just cut the plug stem off, or if I can, if they're on a little piece of rock glued to the plug, I'll cut that off. That's what I've been doing with all the corals. Cut them off the plugs, so those were on a little rock on a frag plug. Same with all the hammers, they were on frag plugs. And I was very hesitant at first. I'd never done it before, but literally just used Gorilla super glue gel, and from what I've read, it's all safe for a reef tank, which is crazy to me, but it's showing no problem. Everybody does it. So the mushrooms I just put there, and they're just chilling. They didn't need to be glued, thankfully. Those are just sitting there because they're on a big old piece of brick, actually. And the clams, they attached as they pleased. I placed them where I wanted them. But they were captive bred. This one was probably under an inch when I got them. That one was maybe an inch and a quarter at most. Super tiny, very cool. People say feed them live phytoplankton when they're that size, which I've heard it's not always necessary, but I went ahead and did it just to be safe, and I've been giving them this Kaiser's culture. Got it on eBay. I just kind of got it because it seemed like the best value, and it's a guy just making it himself, and he has great reviews, and I recommend it. Not sure if it helped the clams, but one thing I definitely noticed is the xenia, like minutes after adding it to the tank, would be pulsing much more vigorously. Nowadays it seems to be pulsing a lot more regularly, which is cool, so I don't see a big difference, but before it wasn't pulsing as much. The urchin's super cool too. He mostly hangs out on the glass and just eats algae. I'll actually take pieces of this and give it to him. It's really cool. I'd like grab it with his spines. But yeah, I'll just throw in some clips of the zoanthids once they're in the tank at the end, but other than that, that's about it for the tank. I'll do more videos just rambling on about what I've done and what I'm doing differently. Oh right, 2 mangroves in the back too, also from Florida. That one had leaves when I got it, this one didn't, and they haven't changed much, so we'll see how those do. The roots look good though. This one was buried, but I actually unburied it because I was curious to see if the roots were looking like they were good or not, because it's very bendy. So if you know if they're supposed to be bendy or not, let me know in the comments. Yeah.